Hello and welcome back to the News You Missed Recap. This is a podcast type of video that is used to recap all of the gaming news that was pretty major for this week. These stories don't necessarily make up entire 10-minute videos alone, so I recap them here in a podcast-styled video. You can put me on in the background, but this video is meant to just recap the video game happenings of the week. If you guys would be so kind, click that subscribe button, help me on the way to 1 million subscribers. Like and share the video, that also helps, and be prepared to leave a comment down below over some of these news stories. I'd also like to make mention that I have a Discord where I update news stories, and I do other posts and have links to videos there, as well as Patreon. If you want to donate $1 or up to $20, you could win a video game console and see videos like this a day earlier. Now, without further ado, I suppose we should just jump right into the news, right? Alright, you're here for this. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin with some Pokemon Sprites coming out. Now, this isn't exactly major news for a lot of people who didn't really grow up with the original gens, but because we have a lot of lack of information for the original generations, it's pretty nice to see the original Pokemon Sprites being compiled down and revealing some unknown Pokemon Sprites for a long time. These are Pokemon that might have meant to have been in the game, but did not. For whatever reason, they just didn't make the cut. Game Freak has gone on record to state that they had a voting process, a vetting process where people voted against certain sprites, certain Pokemon, and decided to exclude them. Some of these Pokemon are like balloons. We've seen some of them in some leaks before where they showed some of the sprites that did not make it in, like a cactus or, I don't know, a weird shark with an arrow for a nose. Some of the more interesting ones is, again, the aforementioned balloon, but there seems to also be a squid, several squids for whatever reason. So I'll go ahead and link that in the description below, along with any of the other news stories I mentioned here. These sprites definitely went through radical changes before they actually made it into the game, but I still think it's pretty interesting to see them. So make sure to check into that if you're a huge Pokemon fan. And speaking of Pokemon, if you happen to have a Nintendo Switch, but you don't have a lot of money, or you didn't want to buy Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, there's also a demo that has been added to the Nintendo eShop. So if you'd like to try it out, and you're not sure about the new system and the new mechanics, you can go ahead and download it and try it. I bought the game day one, and I would say that the best option is to just buy one of the copies of the game and play through it. If you like the demo, you'll like the game, but I can't highly recommend Pokeball Plus because I feel like that's more of a scam than anything else. Not that they are lying to you about what you get in it, it's just that it comes with a Mew and it's a controller that's exclusive to this game alone. So unless you're a hardcore Pokemon fan, I don't think it's worth it. So just buy the game straight up and you'll be pretty set. So yeah, I guess if you are a Pokemon fan, you probably already own the game, so you probably wouldn't need the demo unless you're broke and you weren't able to buy it. Well, anyways, if you were considering playing it, check into the demo. You won't be disappointed. It's a free game, it's a free demo, try it out. So, apparently the US government was caught using Yoshi's Island music in an educational flash game about recycling. So that's funny. The person who was conducting this report stated that they were 99% sure that it's a game from 1999. Can't be 100% positive, but they state that it's probably not past the mid-2000s. I attempted to load this game, and it got stuck in a loading loop, so it's a pretty old game. Apparently, they just recycled Yoshi's Island music. I don't know why. So they stole some music. That's about it. It was a free flash game. Probably didn't make any money off of it, though, again, I can't be 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure they didn't make any money off of it. And of all organizations, it was the EPA. So, yeah, Yoshi might be avoiding paying his taxes, but it seems that the US government is avoiding paying the royalties to good old Nintendo. So, how the tables have turned is the article's title, and I couldn't agree more. It's a funny joke, all things aside. I don't really think Nintendo even cares. I don't even think the US government cares. It's an old game that used Yoshi music. That's just how it goes. It's just how it is. So there you go. Weird story. Another weird story is that Tetris is teaming up with Puma this October. So Tetris 99 just came out on the Nintendo Switch. It's a battle royale version of Tetris where you face off with 99 other players while getting attacked by said players and attacking other players to try and come in first place. Sweet, sounds great. but apparently because of this nice boom, they are teaming up with Puma. For what it's worth, if you want some Tetris shoes, it's out there. They've teamed up with other organizations like Sonic, you know, so Sega and Sonic, there you go. You can get those type of shoes. I don't particularly think there's anything special about the shoes myself. I know there's some sneakerheads out there, but I really can't even imagine a lot of sneakerheads would really care. The Sonic shoes look okay at best. Yeah, they're kind of more showpieces than anything else. I wouldn't necessarily rock them. I just don't like the way they look. I can't say that I agree that these shoes will look amazing, but if they see fit to send me some, I'll definitely show them off in a video, review them, and wear them around. Just for you, ladies and gentlemen. But there you go. You ever wanted Tetris shoes? It's going to be coming. There's been rumors of PlatinumGames Scalebound being revived as a Nintendo Switch exclusive, and we're getting even more rumors dealing with some crossover from consoles. So, if you guys forgot about what Scalebound was, it was kind of a weird dragon hybrid where there was a guy fighting alongside with dragons, battling, things like that. Seemed pretty cool at the time, but it was supposed to be for the Xbox. And again, I suppose it could have come to other consoles, but at the time, Nintendo wasn't even a thought. Like, nobody even thought it. Like, okay, maybe it would have come to PC, maybe it would have come to the good old Xbox, but nobody expected Nintendo. Now, apparently, there's been rumors that it's going to be resurrected on the Nintendo Switch, because they were talking about how some old dead IPs are going to be resurrected on the Nintendo Switch. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know if I really care, to be perfectly frank. I don't think Scalebound was anything amazing, but I don't think it was absolutely terrible enough to die. So it would be cool to see another game come over to the Switch. Do I think it'll be a console seller? Absolutely not. I don't think anybody, casuals, hardcore fans, anyone is really like, oh man, I can't wait for Scalebound. So, will it sell a lot of games? Maybe. Maybe it'll be like Game of the Year. Maybe it'll be amazing, but yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Scalebound? Nintendo Switch? Let me know. And continuing the rumor mill, we have Microsoft bringing Game Pass and published titles to the Nintendo Switch. So that's interesting. If you guys are thinking Halo is going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch, not outside of the realm of possibility, if you were able to possibly live stream it. Do I think Halo would run on the Nintendo Switch? If they had a massive problem getting the Master Chief Collection to run properly on the Xbox One, I can't see it coming over to the Nintendo Switch. So I don't think that's going to happen. And I really don't think Halo 6, Halo 5, or Halo 4 would even run on the Nintendo Switch either, unless they were able to stream it. So I don't know how they would do that. I know Game Pass, and how that's going to work is that there's might be some exclusive games that are meant to be exclusive to the PC and Xbox, and not for PlayStation or other gaming ecosystems. Rather, that they're supposed to stay on there, and then if you have Game Pass, you might be able to play them over on the Nintendo Switch with the xCloud streaming service, which is cool. Again, like I said, you might be able to play Gears of War, Halo, things like that, but I think it's more intended for things like Ori and the Blind Forest, or some Rare Replay, things like that, where you have a bunch of rare games, and you can play them on the Nintendo Switch. Finally, we're going to be able to play Banjo-Kazooie again on a more modern Nintendo console. Wow, never thought I would ever say those words, but it seems that that might be possible. And since the Xbox Live Game Service is coming to the Nintendo Switch, just the Xbox Live Game Service, don't confuse what I'm saying, the party system, the chat, the functionality of the Xbox Live service, I wouldn't be surprised if Game Pass didn't also come to the Nintendo Switch, and then certain published titles. But again, don't get your hopes up for ridiculously huge games like Halo 5 being compressed down into a tiny little cartridge and put on the Nintendo Switch. Maybe it'll live stream, maybe it won't. Would you want to live stream Halo on the Nintendo Switch? I can't necessarily recommend that, but it might be an option in the future. So hopefully you have a good internet connection if that's something you would want to do. Nintendo of America President Reggie Fils-Aimé is going to be retiring and will be succeeded by Doug Bowser. Now this has already occurred, so this is just again a slight recap. Doug Bowser has been around for a minute, and even though Reggie Fils-Aimé is a meme lord and a god who has ascended to heaven, Doug Bowser is pretty cool in the fact that his last name is Bowser. Wow, right? I mean, it's a real fitting role. Bowser has finally taken over the reins and become Nintendo president. Oh Lord, what will happen to the Mario Brothers now? In fact, due to his warm welcome post on Twitter, a lot of people have been speculating that there might be something afoul. There's a big conspiracy theory going around, because Reggie Fils-Aimé is retiring at 15 years instead of 20, because retirement usually goes to 20. Though it's not impossible to see it earlier, it's just unusual. And the fact that Doug Bowser being the one to succeed him, there's just a lot at play where a lot of people think this is a giant April Fool's joke, because this is happening in April. So it's pretty crazy. The conspiracy theory getting a little bit of traction, but I think even for Nintendo, this would be one ridiculously massive troll. I mean, to the point of ridiculosity. Like, I don't think a company would actually troll like this. But hey, you never know. Maybe it is just a giant joke. In that case, it would be great because I love Reggie. But at the end of the day, I think Doug Bowser will do a good job. So you let me know what you think. Black Mirror and Peaky Blinders director set to helm Halo television series. Oh boy. Oh boy. The Halo series itself is very strange when it comes to anime, cartoons, movies, films, in any way, shape, or form. There's just tons of stuff all over the place. There's books, there's media, just everything you could imagine, right? Some of it is good, engaging, entertaining. Some of it is just more for the sake of lore, and others is pretty bad and boring, especially some of the cutscenes in the more recent Halo games. But, all the same, it seems that we're going to be getting a Halo television series, and it's going to be directed by someone who actually seems to know what they're doing, so that's good. We'll see if it actually comes out, and it is a good series. I would not hold my breath if I were you. Halo is traditionally not the absolute best media series out there. You don't see people running and buying up every single copy of Halo. It's not the good old Breaking Bad. It's not the next Game of Thrones. But maybe this one will be with a good director. I hope so, because it could definitely use it as it's on track to being a dead franchise. Paradox Interactive launches modding platform for the Xbox One and PC. So you might be saying to yourself, what do you mean modding platform? I just mod any games? No, it's restricted to some games, okay? Surviving Mars, Stellaris, and City Skylines. But there's already 200 user-created mods currently available for that. And the biggest thing here is that it's for Xbox One. Now recently, only Bethesda and a very few handful of other games have been permitted to put out mods for games on the Xbox. And I think that's very, very strange. Just to get into the console versus PC discussion, I've always thought, why would I ever want a console when I can have a PC and do all this stuff on the PC? At the same time, I do want a console because I want that couch experience that's closed off. So when I buy a console, I know exactly what I'm going to get. I appreciate the option to add to it or take away from it, but I also think that kind of introduces the idea that it's not really a console anymore. You're just buying a miniaturized computer with a very specified operating system. And this definitely is ushering in that age that I'm pretty sure that Microsoft really would like to go that direction, where it's more of a miniature PC that fits in your living room with a one combined ecosystem. But at the same time, they want a lot of control over that ecosystem, which is kind of strange if you're permitting mods. But I don't know, it's a very strange time to be a gamer, and I think a lot of people are very, very happy that they have these options. Again, would you like to see mods coming to bigger games like Halo, the aforementioned Halo, or other games that are on the Microsoft Xbox One, Gears of War, just bigger games, Forza? Would you like to see custom mods coming to them? Would you like to play with people who have mods on or off, as long as they didn't give an advantage to a player? You let me know your thoughts and opinions, because I would absolutely love feedback from that. Again, very, very strange age we're living in where you can mod a game on a console, but cool to have more options. Google is teasing that they're unveiling gaming plans for the next month. So a lot of people have speculated that there's going to be a massive Google streaming service that's going to be the newest gaming console where you're just going to be able to stream games. Do I think it's going to be successful? Absolutely not. I think we have the big three consoles for a reason. I think anyone trying to jump in to the console market right now is pretty ignorant and stupid. They're throwing money at something that just is not going to work. There's so many people out there who already own PlayStation 4s, Xbox Ones, and Nintendo Switches that the only reason someone would buy a new console is, hey, you know, the PlayStation 4 was pretty cool, I'm going to go buy the PlayStation 5. Or, hey, you know, the Xbox was pretty sweet, I'm going to go buy an Xbox. The reason beforehand that these consoles were able to get traction, for example, the introduction of the Xbox, is that there was a gap, a void that needed filled at the time, and Microsoft filled it with something different. Nowadays, when you jump into the console market and you try to introduce these new consoles, okay, there's not really a massive streaming console, but that's just due to the limitations of our internet capacities. Not a lot of people have unlimited data, not a lot of people have the fastest internet, thus playing a game over a streaming service would not be good. Do you think the entire nation is going to be able to do that? You know, you have 50% of the world isolated in country settings, so now you're really limiting the numbers of people that you can sell this device to. It's not going to work out too great. So it would be great if they introduced it in the idea that you could just use it on your phone and export HDMI out and just plug it into a TV and then hook up a Bluetooth controller and play all sorts of amazing games on that. That would be sweet. Do I think that's going to happen? It's a possibility. Do I think a standalone console would work? Probably not. Not that well, because Xbox is already talking about integrating more streaming services. I'm sure PlayStation is going to be getting into that idea with Sony, and of course Nintendo. They're always jumping into interesting ideas and unique ways to play the games. So this would not necessarily surprise me. There were streaming platforms beforehand too, like OnLive, which didn't work out that well. It's not like it was bad or awful or anything. It just didn't offer anything that the big three didn't already offer, which is why it failed. And then there's been other consoles that were like dedicated Android type of gaming devices. Just what I'm throwing out there, not necessarily 100% to a T. A good example would have been the Ouya, a gaming device that was pretty unlocked and moddable. And then we have devices like the Nvidia Shield. So what are you going to add to the gaming ecosystem, Google, that doesn't already exist in some way, shape, or form? That's going to make tons of people go out and say, wow, I need to buy that right now. You have an exclusive game? People buy Nintendo consoles for Mario. You know, Zelda, Metroid. The Mario IP is huge. Nintendo has a lock on their IPs. Are you going to introduce something like Halo? I don't know. I don't understand what in the world they could be introducing that would compel people to buy it. But hopefully it is successful, because more gaming options, it's way better than less gaming options, I suppose. I don't know. That's just how I feel. So Square also expects a major game release later this year. That's cool. There's a lot to this article. You can read into it. Apparently, it's been a few years since the newest Final Fantasy entry in terms of Final Fantasy 15, the big numbered entries. Perhaps we will see a new massive MMO Final Fantasy. Perhaps we will see something major like Final Fantasy 7 being remade. That would be really cool. I wouldn't get my hopes up too high for that, but at the end of the day, they are teasing a giant game release, so that's really, really cool. Cannot wait to see what they come out with, as I absolutely love Final Fantasy 15. Chrono Trigger director is now working on a new Square Enix RPG, Oninaki. I'm very bad at pronouncing game names, so I'm very, very sorry for that. This seems to be a game where you can go in and out of the afterlife, and you're killing these shadow demon-y figures and trying to save spirits who have wandered from the afterlife, and there's a little bit of depth to it. It seems this game is around 60% completed, but it's still slated for a summer release. I definitely wouldn't be too concerned. If they say they're going to get it out during summer, they probably will. Otherwise, you're just going to have to wait and be patient. Chrono Trigger was an amazing game, one of the absolute best games, probably in my top 3 games of all time. So when the director is working on a new RPG, I'm going to take note I'm gonna assume that this is going to be a pretty cool series. It's a live action RPG, not a structured RPG where it's turn-based only. So this is pretty cool. I can't wait to see what this game actually comes out and becomes, because according to the trailer, it looks pretty cool. Imagine like Bleach, if you guys have seen the anime. Something very similar to that, but not necessarily to a T. It's just very similar in nature. So you can kind of compare it to that, but again, it is its own game. It is its own media entry, so make sure to take note of that, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to continue on, and we have another game that recently came out, Anthem. It's been reviewed, and almost every single person who has reviewed it, including a lot of people, a lot of casuals, a lot of hardcore gamers, when they look at it, they say it's not good. They say it's not that good. It's not an awful game. It's not terrible, but it rarely offers you anything that you can't get in another game series. For example, I continuously compare this game to Destiny because it's very identical to Destiny. The first massive portion of the game is a lot of grind and story-based missions that require you to do, again, a lot of grinding to get through them. These are things that you traditionally wouldn't want to do because you want to get to the post-game content, which I think everyone can understand. You're playing a game, you want to get to the post-game content, you want to have a good time with the game. It makes a lot of sense. But this game forces you to grind out those missions before you can get to that post-game content. And again, it's very similar to Destiny in where it feels like it's unpolished, it's unfinished, it's not there yet. And a lot of people are saying, hey, you know, when is it going to get there? A lot of people are talking about loading screens, how long the loading screens are, how much of an issue that is, especially in our current era where loading times should be extremely short. I don't know how you feel about that. Again, it's not cool staring at a loading screen. Destiny has a lot of loading screens. They do it pretty effectively on PC, but this is Destiny 2 we're talking about, and this is Anthem's first entry into their series. So again, comparing it to Destiny may not be 100% fair comparison, but if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck, man. So this is very similar. It fits into the genre of Destiny, and it feels like Destiny 1 all over again. A game that is almost finished, almost there, but has a lot of reshaping to do and a lot of feedback to take in before it comes to a complete story. So I don't know, maybe it has a better story than Destiny did, but it definitely seems like it has a ways to go. How do you feel about Anthem? Have you had a chance to play Anthem? You let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. I'm sure a lot of people will be upset that I called it similar to Destiny, but I mean, you just gotta deal with my opinion, man. If I feel like it's similar, it's similar. That's just how I feel. Maybe you love it, maybe you hate it, doesn't matter. EA's Australian studio has been hit by massive layoffs. This sucks. When a game studio gets laid off, it's very crappy. When they were being interviewed and spoken with, an employee anonymously spoke and said that the atmosphere was so grim that the remaining staff are working on the assumption that the whole studio will eventually be shut down. So that's very negative. I'm not sure why EA decided to shut it down, but shocker, EA shuts down studios. This should be nothing new. EA has killed off many game studios, from Maxis Studios to Westwood to many other studios. EA has no problem shutting down studios. Fire Monkeys, I believe, was the studios, and Fire Mint, and there's tons of Australian developers that work with EA. This is a big one. They were focusing exclusively on mobile development, making Real Racing 3, The Sims Free Play, Need for Speed No Limits. The company had a new office. It wasn't too long ago, and being let go after working and developing on Real Racing 4, pretty bad time to be a developer and be let go like that. It's got to be heartbreaking to be called into the office, only to be told, hey, by the way, you don't have a job anymore. We're going to have to let you go because we can't even afford it. And probably the rest of the staff. You're just getting let go a week early. You know what I mean? That's pretty sad. So if you know any of those developers, you see them on Twitter, give them a nice pep talk, give them a thumbs up. If you're a developer and you have a college degree and you're good at what you do, you'll find another job. You always will. You always land on your feet. There's no big deal, no issue with that. It's just crappy when it happens because, you know, you have to take time to go and find that job, and you was putting your heart and soul maybe into a game, thinking that it would come out. So that sucks. Black Ops 4's Grand Heist update is excellent, except for the loot boxes. I don't even have to read this article, do I? Do I? Do you guys want me to read this? No? Yes? A little bit? Okay, let me explain. So, there's loot boxes. How do you feel about them? Not good? Cool. So we all agree on that. And there was an update that adds more content to Black Ops 4. Sweet. That's it. That's literally it. Loot boxes suck. Ladies and gentlemen, is this a shock? This is something that still continues to persist in the gaming world with all of the controversy. And it seems that companies like Activision and developers of this Call of Duty, Black Ops 4 specifically, they aren't getting it. They just don't get it in their heads. You know why? Because casuals still buy loot boxes. Casuals are still feeding into the idea that, hey, I'll just spend a couple bucks here, I'll just spend a couple bucks there, and I'll buy a loot box. There's a game where you literally have to get 160 loot boxes to get 4 legendary skin sets to complete a character. 160 loot boxes! Just imagine if a loot box even cost $1. That would be $160 you would have to spend. But imagine if they cost $10. Oh my god, man. Just put another 0 at the end of that 160. That's ridiculous. This is content that you should be able to earn in-game. The idea is that because it takes so long to earn these items, skins, things like that, you continue to play their game and not the competitors' games because you like that game so much. That is why you make the content free, because it stops people from playing other games, and then when you release a new version of the game that they've been playing for so long, they jump over to that because they absolutely love your game. That's why you don't put loot boxes in. That's why you make everything earnable, because it gives a sense of what you've done, what you've accomplished in the game. Hey, look, I got this camouflage that requires you to get 250 headshots and then prestige the gun and get them again. That's a sense of accomplishment. Look at how good I am at this game. It's sweet. It might not matter to a lot of people. It might just be numbers. It might just be a silly skin. But at the end of the day, you didn't have to spend money on it, right? So again, loot boxes still coming out, still a thing, and still an extreme problem. At least in my opinion, in my eyes. I don't know why they're still a thing. I hate loot boxes with a passion. I hate DLC. I hate microtransactions, but loot boxes, man, this is a cancer on gaming, and it's just growing and growing and growing and growing, and it's not stopping. I cannot wait till they get shut down. I want to close on these two stories. The Galaxy S10 has come out. There's 3 variations, the S10 Plus, the S10, and then the S10e. The only difference is that the S10 Plus is, just as the name implies, a Plus version. It's slightly bigger, has slightly better specs. Subjectively speaking, do you need them in a phone? Probably not. The S10 would work just fine. If you just like a bigger phone, probably want to go with the S10 Plus. And then the S10e is a scaled down version that only costs $800 instead of a couple grand for the flagships, and you are permitted to get the flat screen instead of the edges that curve off the edge. So that's very nice. Also, you can upgrade the E. Why I mention this stuff is because this is good for gaming. But should you upgrade? Do you need to upgrade? No, not at all. Unless your phone is 5 to 6 years old and you use it as a daily driver and it's just super slow, you can't play games, you can't use modern apps, you don't need to upgrade. If everything your phone does for you is exactly what you need it to do, you don't need to upgrade. And this includes gaming. So if you have a phone from 2013, 2014, you have tons of emulators on it, all you do is play games, text every now and again, call someone, and maybe hit a few websites, and it works, don't upgrade. You don't need to spend $1,000. You don't need to spend $800. Just wait till Black Friday. Every single one of these phones will be cut in half. You can go to places like Best Buy, you can go to places like Sam's Club, and you can find them half priced. So if the Galaxy S10e is $800 and you say that's too much money, you just wait till Thanksgiving, Black Friday, get it for $400, and then you have a nice gaming phone that can play tons of games for you, and it's pretty budget friendly. I mean, $400 is still $400. That's a lot of money, but that phone will likely last you many years. I usually keep phones 2 to 3 to 4 years, So I feel that it's pretty justifiable to spend $400 on a phone if I'm going to replace it between 2 to 4 years. It's something that I use as a daily driver here on YouTube, and it's pretty important to me, especially in the gaming scene. Yes, I play mobile games, just not excessively. So these phones are really, really great for gaming. They overshadow a lot of older computer systems. So if you have a budget laptop, the S10 is probably going to outdo your laptop, which, if you really think about it, that's pretty crazy. And I want to conclude the episode also on the Galaxy's foldable phone. It's so affordable, just costs $2 grand. That's $2,000. You heard me right, $2 grand. But if you think about it, you get 2 phones, so of course, if they're both flagships, then you're getting 2 S10s, and you're just able to fold them back and forth. This is a foldable phone, okay? Not a weird kind of transformer phone. This is a smooth transitioning foldable phone that allows you to have dual screens and take it from regular phone mode to tablet mode. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because this has no customer base outside of those who are extremely enthusiastic about tech. There are people out there who want premium technology. Is this good for gaming? Absolutely. If you are a gamer and you need a regular phone, but you also need a tablet at the same time, this is great for you because then you can take it from phone mode to tablet mode in an instant, hook up a Bluetooth controller, start playing Fortnite, start playing all your emulators, start playing all your games, and you have a bigger screen, and you don't have to shift devices all the time. That's great. Would I pay $2 grand for it? Absolutely not. I would not pay even $500 for it because I don't need a foldable phone. Most people are going to take tablets with them. If they are a business person, if they are a college student, you probably have a laptop. You probably have a bag you take with you with some books in it. You probably have a phone already. So what is the difference between taking a phone and a tablet if you need a bigger screen? That is my point, and that's the point a lot of people were making about this. Insane technology, an interesting new way to interact with technology, but do you need it? No. Again, this device is extremely powerful. Probably puts your laptop to shame if your laptop's a few years old. It has a QXGA plus resolution, which is... I'll just go ahead and throw it on screen. It's interesting. It's HD, 12:9 display used for phone mode. But here's the thing. It has 512 gigabytes of flash storage, 3.0, as well as 12 gigabytes of RAM, and a Qualcomm 7nm octa-core processor, which is a very, very tiny processor. Yeah, octa-core. So again, this phone probably beats out a lot of laptops and computers, including mine. This actually has a little bit over my own PC. It's just how the phone actually utilizes things. It's not as if this would work really, really great with a Windows system, but I'm quite sure it could possibly, and developers will probably show that later on. Again, great for gaming, great for technology, just extremely expensive. But this stuff will change, and we'll probably see these prices drop way down below 5 years from now. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the News You Missed recap this week. Again, I would encourage you to click the subscribe button to stay up to date as I recap the news every week. And you can like and share, and you can always leave a comment down in the comment section below. But for me, I'm going to have to go ahead and sign off, and I would greatly appreciate your feedback. Now, I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. As always, good gaming, God bless, and thank you for taking time out to watch this podcast once again.